She just started crying hysterically and kept repeating that she never intended for it to go this far. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over one of the crazier stories I've done in a little while, titled, My Best Friend Physically Attacked Me Because of His Feelings for My Girl. And big shout out to Matthew for sending me this story. And this story is about a guy, he's been with his girlfriend for a few years now, and his so-called best friend, they've been bros for 10 years. And ultimately, you're going to see he ends up kicking her to the curb, as well as the so-called best friend, because he found that she's been cheating on him with him. And amongst the many other lies and deceit and BS that was going on behind the scenes. And let me tell you, all the classic meltdown and waterworks and drama that usually follows these types of stories happens. And that'll be a very good one, guys, just to show you how it's crazy the things that people will do to each other. And you always have to keep your eyes open and never be too nice, and amongst many other things. And you're going to see in this story, guys, this guy is the classic nice guy. He's the type of nice guy who you could tell is a good guy that would do anything for his friends. So why anybody would treat him this way, who knows, but human nature is a very ugly thing. But regardless, also about jealousy and resentment and all that, and how you have to understand you got to be prepared that anybody could turn on you, and understand that anybody can be capable of the ugly traits of human nature, jealousy, envy, all that type of stuff. So definitely is quite the interesting one, and the way he finds out about this is crazy, like it is in the title, and you shall see. So it's a long one, guys, so I'm not going to waste any more time with the intro. Starts off, he says here, so me, a 27-year-old male, and Mark, a 26-year-old male as well, have been best friends since we were 16 years old. We bonded over both wanting the same career path. After years of struggling and tons of rejection, my career for the past year has finally been taking off, while Mark has not. Problem number one, I spent so much time trying to help him, also this past year trying to encourage and help him. We even lived together as roommates from ages 20 through 23 and shared everything. Define shared everything, because you're about to find out you're sharing something else. But about 6 months ago, his attitude towards me changed. He started making me the butt of his jokes, saying belittling and demeaning things. I was kind of a happy-go-lucky type of guy, and I just brushed it off, thought he was just a little jealous and having a hard time and was understanding the situation. I get it, it's a harsh environment to want to work in with tons of rejections and seeing your friend suddenly get the success you always dreamt of. You're being too nice and understanding. Okay, if he's your best friend, your bro, he shouldn't be saying belittling and things like that to you. Even joking, okay? And especially how you obviously had his back and been trying to help him. But you can see, nice guy here. Then there's my ex-girlfriend, Emily. Key saying ex. I thought we had the perfect relationship together for 5.5 years. Good communication, good sex life. She stood by me through all the rough years trying to get ahead in this career path. I'm also a big oversharer and love to talk to her about everything. We had no secrets and were very honest, so I thought. I always made effort to keep the relationship fresh and fun, date nights once or twice a week. I surprised her with gifts, trips, trying to do new things together, cooking classes, dance classes. I just love sharing experiences with her, indulged her in her hobbies. I made sure she knew that she was the number one person to me. And I thought I felt the same for her. Even as my career took off, I made sure not to prioritize her any less or any of my friends. I need a good work-life balance to feel happy. So, he sounds on paper like the ideal boyfriend. What's the problem here? He made her the center of his universe. And what happens to guys, we all know this, when they behave that way? These gals take advantage of them. They lose respect for them. He is taking her out on dates twice a week, planning these different types of dates, variety, all that, making sure she knows she's so important regardless of his career. When you give too much women too much certainty, the exact opposite happens of what you want to happen. And you'll see real quick how she treats him. Last week, we were all at a friend's house. Tom, Katie, other friends, 27, a house they've recently bought. We were sitting in their yard drinking, along with Bill, another friend, and Jane. We've been a friend group for 7 years. So we are all drinking, and Mark gets pretty drunk. Mark is his so-called best friend. And all night he is taking these jabs at me and saying things, and after about 6 months of this, I just had enough. The others also told him to take it down a notch as he tried to disguise these comments as jokes, but he was just being hurtful and rude. The second he started that bullshit back in the day, so-called jokes that were belittling and insulting, he should have nipped that right in the bud, but he didn't do that because this guy's obviously passive and a nice guy. You can't allow that shit to slide or you're going to get more of it, and this is right here. But around midnight, a little drunk, I just had enough, and I call him out on it, which ends in an argument, and I end up thinking this all stems from his jealousy of my recent success. That it's not my fault that he doesn't have the talent to make it, and mention all I've tried to do to help him so he could get the opportunities as well. Then he just attacks me. We shove each other a bit, but he manages to knock me down, kicks me in the ribs a couple times, then tries to stomp on my head. What the F? Kicking on the ground, tries to stomp this dude's head? Okay, that's some serious assault there. In a heartbeat, that guy would be arrested, thrown in jail, and if this guy wanted to press charges, you can do the math. No one, what he's doing goes well beyond jealousy, just over a job. There's more to this you can imagine. Luckily, he doesn't hit me full force. I feel the sole of his feet hit my cheek and slip off. But it was hard enough that my face is still swollen. Then he does it again, but I moved and just see his heel land full force inches from my face. He could have broken my skull or worse. He could have offed me. But he had landed on my head. Then the other guys get in between. I stand up and yell as if he's crazy. He seems to be walking off, but he picks up a wooden plank. He doesn't stop there. He's got to pick up a wooden plank. Says Tom and Katie are redoing their fence in a building near the shed. Then he lunges at me again and swings it towards my head. I kind of duck and put my hand up so he hits my elbow pretty hard. Better your elbow than your head. Again, he could have offed me 2 times in a matter of seconds. He almost hit Jane with the swing also, so all hell breaks loose. And Tom and Bill jump on top of him and beat him up pretty bad as they were just seeing red from what happened. Now call the cops. And you got witnesses, and have his ass arrested and press charges. This is no friend. He could have offed him. And them. The girls managed to get them off Mark, and they kind of realized what they did. It's just emotional chaos at this point, and we were all kind of in shock. Mark sits up, and Emily sits with him, and there's a lot of blood in his face, but he didn't lose consciousness. Hold on here. Emily is this dude's girlfriend. Why is she going and consoling Mark, not our guy here telling the story? Because Mark is the one that attacked him and probably could have offed him or done severe brain damage. And she's over there consoling him. Huh, what a great girlfriend. What could be going on, we wonder? Katie ends up driving Mark to the hospital and gets back in the morning. The hospital? How about the freaking police station? Mark had a broken nose and a slight concussion, and she dropped him off at his parents'. She said Mark didn't really talk to her, explain himself, or even apologize. Shocker. None of us really slept that night, and honestly, after all, the things are a bit blurry to me. Probably a mix of alcohol, shock, and adrenaline, and the worst night of my life. But it just got worse. You might have noticed I haven't mentioned Emily for a while. Says here, we were all sitting around, and Tom says something like Mark deserved worse than a broken nose for trying to off me twice and almost hurting Jane. Then Emily, who's been quiet, suddenly snaps and defends Mark, saying he doesn't deserve any of this, and he just has been having a very hard time. Oh, okay. My so-called friend tried to off me multiple times, and all these injuries we all have, but you're defending him. Hey, you're my girlfriend, by the way. I treat you like gold. That's a problem. What's up? Tom and Emily almost end up in a screaming match before Emily storms off. I follow her, thinking, okay, we are all in shock and sleep deprived, and plan to comfort her. Smack! I should have smacked him earlier for all that nice guy shit he was saying, what he was doing. Maybe a little off today. You're going to comfort her when she's trying to comfort Mark. The dude's trying to attack you. Where's she comforting you? Nice guy. I find her in the guest room crying. Shocker. I tell her I understand and we are in shock and maybe we should just try to get some sleep. She doesn't even look at me, and suddenly I realize Mark and Emily were sitting next to each other the previous evening, not the first time. When Mark was screaming at me, Emily was by his side, tugging at his arm, pleading him to take a walk with her and calm down to Mark, not me. What I tell you about paying attention to people's actions. Now, in this case, we're talking about a gal, but in life, you always pay attention to people's actions are not their words. She's consoling him. You're the guy that was attacked. After Mark had kicked me and stomped on me, swung a plank at me, her attention was still on calming him down. While I laid down in pain, she didn't check on me. When the guys are beating Mark, she was screaming in hysteria, trying to pull them off him. I don't even remember her once asking me if I was all right all night. So I ask her, are you cheating on me with Mark? And she just starts crying hysterically, of course, and repeating that she never intended for it to go this far. And I got my answer. I just let it loose and start yelling at her, what is going on? How can she do this? Crying hysterically, of course. I never meant it to get this way. The others come in and the guys take me into another room and try to calm me down. Jane and Katie end up driving Emily to her parents' house, and Jane ends up staying with her as apparently they were worried about her. All the car ride, she cried so much she couldn't speak. Little fucking drama queen. When they got to her parents' house, Jane and Emily's dad had to help her up the stairs and into bed as she barely stood up as she was just in hysteric still. And the only thing she managed to say was, or scream according to them, was that she had ruined everything. So Jane stayed as her parents were worried sick and never seen her like this before. Jane and Katie told them what had happened with Mark and me, and it seemed to stem from Mark and Emily's affair. So, intermission. Let's review here. This guy's great to her. He's great to the friend. The friend freaking tries to off him. The girl is having an affair with his best friend. What great people. And again, this guy, too nice, but still seems like a good guy. Oh, good to his girl, good to his friend. And look how they're treating him. And look at the whole thing went down how she's treating the Mark guy, not him. Right? And now she's bawling her eyes out, hysteric, saying, I ruined everything. Here's what probably happened, in spite of what you're going to find what she says, because I don't believe a word she says. She enjoys the drama. She came between them. She no doubt seduced the guy, and also the friend is jealous of hell as him, and off you go. These people are garbage. And you're about to hear, guys, her talk about things that went down. And I got to tell you, you don't believe a liar and a cheater. And I don't believe the stuff you're about to hear. Then, 5 days pass. I'm just in so much physical and emotional pain. Just so angry and confused. My elbow is... excuse me. My elbow has a fracture, got a couple of bruised ribs, and the right side of my face is swollen. The night is on repeat in my head. I sent Emily some texts asking for an explanation, but she didn't answer. Number one, no surprise she didn't answer. Again, shows how important you are to her. Number two, why'd you reach out to her? You shouldn't be reaching out to her at all. And number three, with all these injuries you have, why aren't you pressing charges against Mark? He's no friend of yours anymore, and I don't care what will happen to him. Call the freaking cops. You got plenty of eyewitnesses what happened. And sue is that he gets arrested, and hopefully you can sue him for civil charges to pay for your medical expenses, amongst many other things. Then this morning I get a call from my former mother-in-law. They're not married, he's just calling her his mother-in-law. And bless their heart, my former in-laws are amazing people and have always been so kind to me and helped me through a lot these past years. She is very apologetic for her daughter and is very understanding. Then she says that Emily wants to see me and talk if they could come over, which I agreed to. They arrive and they say that they will go outside and wait in the car to give us some space. But because of the state Emily's in, they don't want to leave the premises. The state that she's in, how about the state because of her actions that caused this whole mess? I walk in, and when I see Emily, it's a roller coaster of emotion, anger, and bitterness. Then I feel sorry for her and just want to give her a hug. Smack! Your girl's freaking cheating on you, your best friend. You have no idea how long he tried to off you, and she was consoling him, and you want to go give her a hug, you nice guy? Now I get he's been with her all these years, and he thought she was the queen and amazing and angelic up until this moment, but still. Now some guys can switch it off like that, and other guys, their emotions are a roller coaster, but come on, dude. I have nothing to say to her at this point. She looked awful, like a mental patient. Well, she should be in a mental hospital. Like she hadn't eaten, showered, or slept since that night. I just felt so bad seeing her like that and had to restrain myself not to run over and take her in my arms. Smack! So I just sat down there facing her. She said I could ask her anything and she would be honest. Yeah, bullshit. And kept repeating how sorry she is and she has ruined everyone's life. You're not sorry, asshole. You like the drama. You like being in between these guys and creating the drama and turmoil and having them fight over you. I'm not going to go into much details as this is long enough, but basically a year ago, Mark confessed his love for Emily and has been very persistent ever since. She said she made it clear it wasn't mutual. I asked why she didn't come to me, and she said she didn't want to ruin our friendship and wanted to fix things. Bullshit. Any good girlfriend would go to her boyfriend and say, your friend is putting the moves on me, telling me that he's in love with me, all that. In these last few months, he's been the most aggressive ever, asking her to leave me for him. I asked if anything had happened. She said they kissed twice, and Mark initiated both times, but she stopped it. And they once cuddled over a movie, and Mark tried to initiate the sex, and then she left and set clear boundaries. Sure. If she was trying to establish real boundaries from the first time he professed his love to her, that would have been it. Let alone him kissing her and then cuddling on the couch. Something tells me there's a lot more going on than cuddling on the couch. And not to mention, as you're going to find out how long this has been going on. I asked her why she didn't cut contact, why she's been answering his direct messages, kept meeting him, giving him false hope, and leading him on. If she liked his attention. Ding, ding, ding. Oh yeah, she liked his attention. Then she said the strangest thing, that she felt bad for him, felt sorry for him, felt protective of him, like she was his big sister. What the F? And she needed to help him get over her. And she had even set him up on a date with a friend, which he sabotaged by being a jerk to the girl. I asked her if she was stupid. If she was telling the truth, she did nothing but keep his hope and crush alive for her by keep giving him all her time. Yeah. Exactly. I don't buy into this bullshit for a second. And again, he's right. She just kept it going a little bit, and she felt sorry for him, protective of him. No. She started crying, of course, and doubled down on having a sister-brother relationship with him and wanted to fix everything, and he was just having a hard time, and she wanted to help him and get him on his feet again. The damaged guy. That's what we have here. She's falling for the damaged guy. And this is the guy, the best friend of, and I guarantee you he doesn't treat her the same way that this guy does. But he kept getting more persistent and started talking about me in a bad way and that I didn't deserve her. She says she regrets everything and says she was just stupid and had ruined everything and dealt with everything in the worst way possible. But she did it in good faith, not realizing she was just making things worse. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Don't get me wrong, Mark's a piece of shit, but still. And how do you know that the situation isn't reversed? That she put the moves on him, seduced him, put ideas in his head? I'm not saying it's not possible that a guy can be jealous of his friend over career and his girl and everything, but still. I think definitely this guy obviously had the hots for her, but I think she is leaving out a lot of things. Big time. And I don't believe for a second that they weren't hooking up. Because again, look how protective she was of that guy when that whole fight broke out, which he started. That's not somebody you just care about. It's somebody you have feelings for. Then I ask her if she has any contact with him since that night, and she takes this awkward pause before starting bawling her eyes out and saying, yes. That just destroyed me and completely ruined me. This man, for over a year, tried to get with her, tried to off me, and I waited 5 days for her to answer me, only for her mother to call me on her behalf, and meanwhile she's texting with him. There you go. All this time she's texting with him, this whole thing went down. Not seeing how he's doing, given the fact that he was beat up and all that. I mean, again, you pay attention to someone's actions. I couldn't answer. I just felt like hurting her. Not physically, but emotionally. So I decided to just get up and go. She pleads with me, offers to show me the text, saying they just checked off if he was okay. And then the discussion went to her telling him it's over and to stop contacting her. But for me, she's made her choice. It was the worst pain in my life these last 5 days because of them, and she still chose to continue talking to him while I was on my own. Exactly, bro. This poor guy, physically he's hurting, and mentally and emotionally he's hurting. I mean, he would feel better if he got run over by a bus than all this. I walk out with her following me pleading, and I'm not proud of this, but her mom and dad get out of the car and ask if everything is all right, and I just let loose. I yell at their cunt of a daughter has ruined my life. Good for him. How she could choose the man who tried to stop my face over me. I was so angry I couldn't even drive, so I just started walking away. I don't know for how long I was walking until my ex-father-in-law drives next to me and tells me to get in, which I do, expecting him to yell at me or tell me off, but bless his heart, he just drives me home. Because her parents are obviously good people and they can see this guy's a great guy and their daughter's a shithead. We didn't talk all the way, but when he stopped outside of my place, he put his hand on my shoulder. I couldn't even look at him in the face after what I said to them. Emily did text me a screenshot of their text, which seems to prove what she said, and that she only checked if he was okay, and then said that she couldn't keep him in his life. Something tells me she was very selective on what she showed you. Come on here. Her actions have demonstrated you can't trust her. That she would never forgive him for attacking me. She also sent more screenshots of their previous chats, mostly of her telling him to stop. And that she didn't have feelings for him, and of her rejecting his advances. But as they've been talking for over a year, I guess she could cherry pick parts of the conversations that look in her favor and leave other parts of the text out. I've not responded yet, and I don't think I ever will, and will block her for some reason I just can't yet. Yeah, she could pick and choose the conversations that she sent messages of. And again, why didn't she reach out to her boyfriend, 5.5 years, who treats her like gold, to see if he's okay? Because, I don't know, he was being kicked in the ribs and kicked in the head, and amongst many other things. Had a guy take a freaking block a board of wood at his head, but you can't check it on him? Come on. There's way more going on here than she's letting on. You can't believe a word she says. Now I'm just here getting this all out of me. I just feel so betrayed and angry and horrible. I want to hurt Emily and Mark so bad. Not in a violent way, just emotionally. Make them feel the pain I'm feeling. And I know that's not a healthy way to feel or a healthy thing to do. So I just hope that writing this out, even if no one reads this, will help me start to process what the hell has happened. How my life went from feeling perfect to feeling like I never feel good again. I feel like this pain will never go away. It will, brother, but it will take time. How on earth can someone heal from this? I feel like I lost everything. The people I used to love with all my heart, I feel nothing but hatred for now. I know Emily said she didn't cheat, as in had sex, which I doubt because I'm not stupid. And even if they didn't have the sex, she still betrayed me on so many levels, as did Mark. I don't think I'll ever forgive them. I don't feel like I'll ever get in a place where I would even consider trying to. So to anyone out there who's been through a betrayal like this, from partners or friends or both, what is my next step? How can I do this to begin the process of just thinking about this and start trying to live my life again? Wow. Talk about a story. I wasn't kidding. This is a crazy story. Well, I've done a lot of crazy stories, and the way these guys get over a-holes like this is to come out of your life completely. Don't listen any more of her BS. Don't listen to his BS. And by the way, call the freaking police and press charges. I don't know if there's a time limit on this, and they may say, why didn't you do it before? But press charge of that mother effer. Okay? He could have offed him. And who knows what kind of damage is going on anyway. He could have had a concussion. I don't know what. And he's got plenty of eyewitnesses. That's what he freaking deserves. Because someone that would go off like that, come on here. That could happen to somebody else one day that he loses it on. And as for her, don't believe a fucking word she's saying. She's trash. She likes the drama. I don't believe anything she says. Cut them out of your life completely and move on. And I've done stories like this before, and these guys eventually do move on. They find out, because their wife or girlfriend with their best friend, and it takes a lot of time, but they do move on. But it's one day at a time. Hang out with your family, people you believe have your back. Focus on your goals, your ambitions, your purpose. Exercise, get out there, eat healthy. Don't bury yourself in alcohol and drugs. That's the worst thing you can do. And guarantee you, he's going to hear from her. She'll be crying, showing up at his doorstep, begging and pleading. No, do not take her back at all. Because again, if she really loved him, the second that this friend started sharing the feelings and started putting the moves on her, she would have told him instantly. Not kept hanging out with him and feeling protective of him and all those other bullshit. That's a lie. Do not trust her. She's a piece of garbage. She can rot. It's just unfortunate because he doesn't like her parents, and her parents seem like good people. But like I said, guys, Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, you can't make this stuff stuff up. So remember, always pay attention to the red flags. Don't be too trusting. Don't be that giving and nice to anybody. Because you can see, even though he's a good guy, he sounds like a guy anybody would want to be friends with, he's naive, and he was way too giving with her and accommodating. And guys nowadays do that, and the women instantly think, oh, weakness. The perception is weakness. He's a pussy, therefore I have to do awful things to him. It's crazy. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. And guys, you come across a really good story like me to share, by all means, email me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it. I definitely will when I get the chance. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.